And I am enough. Thank you, Misa and Ruby and Stephanie. I am enough. Yes. I asked Misa to change that song to that because I wanted us to get to the place where we really understand that. Each and every one of us is enough right now, exactly as we are. You are enough. And the title of today's talk is Pride Can't Be Canceled. Because in the middle of COVID, the Pride celebration has been canceled. But this Pride Sunday exists within us. And I am proud to say, pun intended, that I've gotten to the place where my pride can't be diminished, can't be stifled or canceled. But that wasn't always that way. One of the ways that I've gotten to this place, though, is by unity and my process of coming out more and more and more and being more public than I ever could imagine with my identity and my journey. In this book, which you all should have received in the mail this week, it's called Worthy. It's about the LGBTQ plus journey in unity and in spirituality. And coming to terms with that truth and that knowing of who I am and my wholeness as a man, as a minister, as a father, as a friend, is illustrated in all the stories in this book. Reverend Deanne writes in it, I write in it, and a lot of our friends and colleagues do too. I invite you to look at it, to share it with someone who you think might appreciate it, and to come with us on the journey to wholeness and to pride. I don't know what happened in your life, in your growing up, but in mine, it wasn't an easy road to get to the place where pride couldn't be canceled. The first experience I can remember of understanding my gay identity, my LGBTQ identity, was a long time ago. Those letters didn't exist. That alphabet soup of letters didn't exist in my world. What I saw was a Time magazine that came to our house and that had pictures of these men. It literally said, as you can see, the homosexual in America. And I opened the magazine and looked at it and read it, and my mom was there, and I asked her, who were these men? And she said, well, they are sick and disgusting. I remember that response. And part of me knew I had to go into hiding. It wasn't too easy for me to hide, but still I tried. And eventually I left Louisiana and I left New Orleans and I moved to New York City. And I found myself surrounded with theater folks and a lot of professional people where I could be who I was and be accepted. For the most part, it was an asset to be fully out, to be fully who I was, and I could make and build a career. And it was miles and miles away from the pain and the shame I had experienced as a child, both from my family of origin and from the kids at school and the teachers at school and from society at large. But then in the 1980s in New York City, the AIDS pandemic hit. And everything changed. Everything shifted. And all of a sudden, we were all scared of each other and scared to be seen and known for who we were. I know here in San Francisco, it was rough as well. And your experience of it, if you were alive and during that time, you know what we're talking about. The fear, the the fear that was prevalent everywhere in the 80s can't be described. It's even different than the COVID fear right now, because we're understanding a little bit more about COVID quickly and how it can be transmitted, but they didn't know anything about HIV and AIDS. And so we went into it together. In the midst of that, though, in the midst of all of that fear and all of that hopelessness, I was able to find some resources. I found Louise Hay and affirmations and teachings about spiritual healing and wholeness. And that was transformative. And then I found A Course in Miracles and the work of Marianne Williamson at the time with that. And then I found Unity. I found a Unity church that Eric Butterworth was running, and a group of people who were all about positive thinking and making a positive difference in our lives. I remember walking into that community for the first time. I was blown away by the diversity of the room. There were people of color, every color. There were gay people and straight people, old people and young people, and it was packed to the rafters and filled with music and joy and love. And it was healing, really healing. And it's there that I learned that I am not a diagnosis. And I learned that now was the moment to live my life. So I did. With the help of Unity and all those teachings I found in the midst of that crisis, I transformed my life. And I soared. I soared from that moment. Even though I had just been diagnosed HIV positive myself, I was able to step up and say, hey, if this is the reality, I'm going to live for this moment. Now, 32 years later, I'm still here, still thriving, still grateful. And then I found myself in the rooms of 12-step. Found myself in the midst of an addiction, even though everything had been going so well. I found myself needing and wanting to recover. And what I found, even though I entered the rooms to get over a physical addiction, what I needed was a spiritual cure. And so I worked the 12 steps of recovery. And I found myself back in Unity, doing the work necessary to heal that wounded child inside of me, to heal the part of me that believed that I was just sick or disgusting or not quite right. That part of me that I thought I had dealt with, but still needed some more work. So after I recovered, I was back in Unity and found myself to be a minister, to be a healer of myself and a force for other people, an advocate for other people's healing. It was a joyous time. And I had moved here to California, and in the midst of that, I also found my husband, the man I love, and we were married. But in the midst of all that too, this proposition appeared on the California ballots, where people got to vote on whether we had the right to be married or not. And now that I think back on it, right, 2008, I think back to 2008, it seems like a lifetime ago, that people could vote on whether my marriage was okay or not. And through that, I had to step up again. I had to step up and say, yes, this is who I am. This is how public I can be with who I am, coming out of the closet in new and unforeseen ways. And I had to become my own best advocate. You know, it had started before, though, because when I found Unity, I wanted to become a Unity minister. It wasn't all smooth sailing, and Unity, while very affirming, also is a very Midwest organization and very conservative in some ways. I was advised in my application to ministerial school not to mention my husband because that might upset some other people. And I was like, well, if that's the case, then I really shouldn't be a Unity minister. But I mentioned my husband in my application, and here I stand. So the world is shifting even in the midst of all of this. And what I wanted to share about this journey is that every step along the way has been a blessing. I can stand here today and I can tell you that pride in me can't be canceled. And you know why? It's because everything I had to go through blessed me, shifted me, changed me. A friend of mine wrote a book called Gay is a Gift. I was like, what a great title, huh? Gay is a gift. Because while it was hard, it made me stand up for myself in a way that I didn't know how to. And there have been many gifts of my being gay. First, I was a great uncle. I was a gunkle. And I got to learn a lot before I became a dad. Gay isn't all of my identity, but it's not something I ever can hide or deny and feel fully to be who I am and to help serve others. I've gotten to the point now where I can write an article in a book and know I am worthy. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of this position. I am worthy of being a parent. I am worthy because I am a divine expression. I am worthy of all of this because every step along the way has led me shed those beliefs that I'm not enough. So, being gay, being HIV positive, being a recovering addict, an alcoholic, being a Unity minister, every step has been a gift so that I can be fully whole, fully complete, and stand before you today and say, I am beautiful. At my age, after everything I've been through, in every aspect of my life, no matter what other people may think, no matter what other people may believe, no matter what other religions will teach, I am beautiful. And what I want for all of you is the same freedom to be able to state, no matter what I've been through, it has been a gift in my life. No matter what I have done, the journey has been a gift in my life. No matter what other people say about me, I am worthy. No matter what people may write, what other people may believe, I am beautiful. That experience is the most powerful spiritual experience you can ever have. A knowing deep in your soul that there is nothing wrong. that you are whole, beautiful, complete, magnificent expression of God. So let's take that to our time of meditation